Well, hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here and back for one last time for Dawn of Man. I didn't really want to leave you high and dry, and I also don't have much time to go back and do all the things that we did in our previous hardcore survival playthrough. But what I did want to do is jump to one of our more successful maps, although this one has its problems for sure, and try to survive in the Iron Age against an enemy attack. That's really what I really want to do in this game. So welcome back. Good to see you here. Let's begin. We have a population of 65 in this other map that we had been playing a long time ago, and we now have access to the armor and the reinforced shields and mail, which we discovered in our previous episode, as well as jumping forward to the Iron Age, which will cost us 34 knowledge. That's insane. Well, before we do that, I definitely want to go ahead and see if we can survive an attack by making armor, and then we'll trigger things for the Iron Age as soon as we're ready. So welcome back one final time, everybody. This is amazing. This actually, playing through on hardcore has made me just want to play through on standard again, as I feel like that's enough challenge, especially if we pick different maps and or on the Northlands as we had previously. So there's so much to this game. I want them to continue to add more, and I hope the developers are working on another game. If you recall previously, I believe the first entry in this developer's I guess, what would you call it, franchises, or like their types of games was planet-based, a game where, quite similar to this, you'd build a base, except that would be on on a planet. And so I really hope that, after doing a futuristic sci-fi game and after a kind of a game about the civilization of mankind, or the beginning of mankind, I hope that they go back and do something else. This is such a good formula. I want to see them either add to it, or if they're kind of restricted by the subject matter here, find something else like relation to building. They do such a fantastic job with it, so I hope they end up doing more. Anyway, we've got 25 carts and rolling megaliths coming in and plows. I'm going to go ahead and build some armor here, though, and I just want to see a big battle take place here in the game. And it looks like we also have the ability to make reinforced shields and mail, which I think costs 14 and 15. So we'll need a few more points to get there, but let's go ahead and see if we can manage our people a little bit. The workload is high, but we'll just see how things play out as is. We're going to try to go more for military commander and less mayor this time around. It looks like we're also still building the walls and such you may have seen in the previous episode. And this here is a part of a different series too, so if you want to see this being played, I have so many different playthroughs of Dawn of Man, and they're spread out pretty nicely to where each time that we played, there was different content as well. There was a time where there was no platforms, and the only way to do combat was to essentially wait for the enemy to bust through the door and fight it out at the entrance, or somehow try to lure them into like a double gated battle zone where, you'd have the first door open, you'd close the second, then you'd close the first one behind them and have them spread out somehow, and then lead your troops in there to cut them off, like divide them. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and wait until there's an attack. I don't see any bodies around or anything, so it's more than likely that an attack will be coming soon. We're also building these two armor buildings, so I guess it'll take some time. Oh yeah, now we're in the fall harvest, so for sure it's going to take a while. But our people should have plenty of food. Now, in this camp, it seems like at a certain point, everybody here ran out of food and was starving and dying to death. So there was some sort of large battle here when we looked into the future, and we weren't able to bring the colony back after losing enough people. I think the workload just gets too high. Right now we're at 310, but that always comes in the spring and autumn with the harvest and the planting time. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I'm starting to remember how I used to play this game too, and this whole series was kind of more of a de-rest at the highest difficulty, relying on my previous experience, which I'm glad that it's still challenging. The last thing I wanted was for this game to be easy after all the times that I played it. So I feel inspired. I just love this game so much. No wonder you guys continuously want me to play this, and Kingdoms and Castles, and Ostriv, and Ancient Cities, and all these just lovely building games. I feel like games like Ancient Cities, for example, have quite a ways to go to be up to this level. However, I feel like they'll be even more realistic than this game, for example. It seems like there's a hell of a lot of people in this colony. Even for 60 population, I think what our goal here was to build a giant settlement just to make it look good and then let it fill up with people later. And I think that's probably a bad idea, because I'm pretty sure we never had more than 100 population unless there was some huge battle previously that just destroyed us. And then we tried to rebuild and try to survive against. Okay, well, I don't see anything I want from the traders, so we'll just kind of play the waiting game as we wait for a large attack. This is definitely one that we prepared to be more of a defensive map, and I'm wondering, with the recent updates to the game, and with the saves from years ago being unchanged, but with the maybe perhaps the amount of enemies that come in or their difficulty being ramped up, and then of course to counterbalance that, we've got more things like, for example, the chainmail and the different types of armor. I want to see how this all plays out. So let's go ahead and make that a higher quality. Storms come in. I forgot people can actually be killed by lightning. Lightning will actually hit your people. It may also kill animals, and I don't think there's a chance of fire in the game, though. That would kind of be a cool thing to deal with in the future, but I think for the most part, this game is all complete with its updates. I don't think the developers have any sort of plans for this one in the future, which is both a good and a bad thing. Good because they could move on to a new thing, but bad because, game good me like. Not a problem. All right, the armory is going up now. One of our first little builders there, getting that constructed. You can see how the people look different, too, when you start having them wear wool clothing and linen. It's a much different appearance for your people than when you're doing dry skin and, the different types of leather outfits for the summer and winter. And it looks like they're hungry for sure. We're going to try to manage the city the best we can, but it seems like for the most part, things are okay. There seems to be plenty of flour and food available. Not as much as we'd like, but definitely more than what I was expecting. Also, I noticed, somebody's on full-time flour making, so it looks like they're constantly making flour and bread from where they can. There should be ovens around here, too, aren't there? Maybe we didn't get a chance to put those in yet, but wow. Now we've got a blizzard to deal with. Ah, there we go. So now we can make oval shields. Ah, so oval shields are actually better than round shields. I misspoke in a previous episode when I said that the round shields were better, but it looks like the oval shield probably requires some level of iron in order to make the better armor. Otherwise, it's just leather and wood. And as we're leather armor, it takes just leather to make that as well. So you can actually see it provides some basic armor, too. So we can get all of our people in... it's basic armor, basic warmth. What would making a, let's say a linen cloth would make? Oh, wait, we want to go to the outfitter. Oh, okay, there's also style, too, which increases your prestige. That's one thing I've never really fully understood in this game, is that there's actually a prestige level, which helps to increase the number of people that come to your camp, but I never know what exactly that means. Like, it's hard to tell, like, okay, obviously higher prestige means more people come per year when there's like a big migration to your city, when people want to move in, which is great. Because you're going to need some troops for that front line, you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of hard to tell whether or not it's going to be 3, 6, 10, 12, a million. You could never really tell. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get some stuff made anyway. Let's go ahead and just make one of each just to say that we've made them for our final episode. And I am so excited to bring you guys into yet another series. I'm playing that previously. I'm just so happy, and I just want to stream this game again and play it all over again. It's so good. No matter how difficult it is or easy it is or what the challenge is for each time. Wow, you can tell we've really gotten attacked here a few times. I doubled down. Oh, that's right. Building on rivers in this game can kind of be OP, because if you build your settlement near a river, the enemy, it'll take some time for them to cross it, and if they're going really slow, and if you have people like, for example, here, they're going to fire on them as they kind of slowly move across the river, so that's a great way to stop them. Okay, so what were we going to do then? I guess we'll just kind of hold off for a little bit, just see what happens. I want to see if there's any other ways to make materials around. Oh, right. The parking post must have been relatively new as well since this save, because we've got vehicles parked everywhere, so we really haven't set up a post. Oh, man. This would be great just to do all over again. I love it. I'm so happy. So excited. All right, well, let's go into the Iron Age finally, and let's do our Iron Age battle. Our goal today will try to be to beat one final enemy invasion and see what we can do. Oh, that's why the workload's so high. We're building stuff over here. I'm just trying to go on my previous knowledge. I'm building something over here, defenses, for whatever reason. The enemy will probably never attack there, but if we invested a ton of materials there, there must be a good reason for it. And, it looks like animals are dying of hypothermia, which means we need some more stables, I suppose. But that might also be, I hate to say it, but it might be a good way to thin the herd a little bit, as it seems like we got plenty of animals since we're producing tons of wool. 16 wool to be precise, yeah. Alright, well, we'll play until we've got an enemy invasion. We'll have to see where they come from. It looks like this, let's call this the eastern side. Seems to be well defended with tons of platforms ready to go. The southern side has this bridge here, which should funnel the enemy into a very small area, which if they attack, we've got platforms here ready to go. And new since last time, too, is that alert gathering area. That seems to be new, as well as all the chainmail and stuff. So definitely overdue for a new playthrough of Dawn of Man. Again. I want to do it again. Aw, looks like we lost a donkey. How many do we have? 29? How many carts do we have? 29 carts, 29 donkeys, so there should be enough. We just need someone to bring that ass over. Alright, 3 new people have joined the settlement. Fantastic. Let's see what we got here for movement. Big farm fields here separating our settlements. I don't even know if this is viable to do anymore either. So many of these tactics in these previous saves that I've seen are based on the development of the game over time, where sometimes you would have to do certain things to move around problems that eventually would be updated to be solved. Like, for example, as I mentioned, the platforms, there was no way to fire over the walls before. So a real good way to get around that was to set up the gates in a way where it would like kind of open into a like a trap, like a double gated area where you'd lure the enemy into a fighting arena where your troops would be waiting. And that would usually work out, but then the enemies became harder and in greater number, so then you'd have to defeat them by having a wall essentially whittle down their forces until they broke through. And here we've got a double wall where the first line of defense is the softer one. Ooh, looks like that. Did you see that? That sheep just walked through here. What? Are the raiders just going to be able to walk around? Oh boy. I guess the other thing I want in this game is the ability to see whether or not people are going to be able to walk around a certain area, traversal. Another trader is here. Looks like we can unlock hydropower with a low commission. That's lucky. Oh man, just imagine if we got up to this level in the game. Oh yeah, check that out. Fish traps sell for 20. That's crazy. 20. Oh, looks like we can sell animals back too, and there's markers now on their sex. I don't think before animals would just be. It would basically be like just 2 animals would equal correct. What would you call it? Ratio, and thus they would have babies. So this is actually a really good way to control population now. You used to be so overwhelmed. If you got a couple of pigs, that'd be it. You'd be so overwhelmed with animals, it would be crazy. Like 2 sheep would equal 10 sheep, and then you'd have to spend all your manpower continuously beating back that population. Well, 455 for the tech of hydropower. Let's go ahead and go down to 15 sickles here. And let's go down to like, let's go down to 15 composite bows remaining in our inventory. Wool seems to be a good thing to trade too, so we'll go down to 455 on that one, and we'll trade. There we go. Now in this game, hydropower, from what I understand, is, yeah, just for the production of flour in this game. So, not really necessary. You can definitely do a lot of flour making from just having somebody working on the grinding thing all the time, but it really removes a lot of that manpower need somewhere else. Oh, I can see where our camp is going now. We're kind of out of all of our grains. So the animals are not going to be in a good time. So we definitely need more harvests. Bad Raptor to sell all my sickles. Actually, no, we have... Nice. We have 69. Nice. 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 So flint sickles, we've got 27 of those remaining. Yeah, we're not even up to the Steel Age. But it looks like this camp was successful in at least getting to the late Iron Age and getting most of everything unlocked. And I think you have the best benefit in this game by building next to a river, because then you can funnel the enemy into the attack. You can use the river as a natural line of defense. There are shallow areas like here to cross. But also, you got that water power, which can remove a lot of the manpower required to continuously make flour. The only restriction with that is then you better make sure that you've got a village nearby to where all the flour can be, well, all the grain can be stored, then brought out to be turned into flour, and then brought right back. Another thing about this game, too, is that keep in mind that storage huts are not like a universal teleportation tube. In other words, if you've got a lot of miners returning with iron ore here, but your blacksmiths are on the other side, somebody's going to have to transport, probably the blacksmith himself will have to transport all the iron ore to the smelter, Or, well, I guess somebody will work the smelter. But then somebody's going to have to go and gather the iron ore, bring it back to camp. Then they're going to have to transport the iron ore to the smelter. And then the smelted iron ore that's turned into ingots will then have to be provided to the blacksmith. So you could have these large storage areas. You want all of those things to be close. So it kind of becomes like Austria, where interestingly enough, we're in the Iron Age, but we're almost building like an Amazon fulfillment site of just like a chain of buildings that are in a massive area. It's crazy how detailed this game gets compared to, first you're just, gathering fish and drying them on a rack, and that's about the best technology that you've got. And the next thing you know, you're actually making armor and such, so that'll be cool. All right, what do we got for points remaining? So we need 16 to get reinforced shields, another 16 to get chain mail. I want to see our people in that, but really, I guess we already know how that would work. Chain mail is just going to give them more armor, and if somebody's got a steel sword with chain mail on, with a rounded shield or an oval shield, they're going to be basically Terminator. They're going to be able to cut through enemy troops like a hot knife through butter, or like somebody clicking and tapping that subscribe button, just right through it. You know what I mean? Just becoming a new subscriber. You know how it is. Wow, look! This game is so beautiful, man. I'm so glad we've come back to this one, and I'm so glad that I went back to my other saves. I'm happy that our previous hardcore mode we just died to death in, and we're able to come back and check what we did previously and how everything else has changed in the game, and also what previous technology we were using in order to make kind of workarounds and what the tactics were. Like, for example, building this massive fortress here to then try to defend this smaller settlement, so that way our supply of, like, for example, I think this was our first camp, and so it was to prevent us having to go so far in order to do farming. So this is like our military encampment, our farming encampment, and then this is all of our industrial stuff, which is why we have a ton of walls here to defend it, because it's so close. Look at all the effort put in towards making clothing. And look at our workload. It went down to 45 now. That's crazy. Finally, we have ourselves an attack. And it's from the east. Here we go. Finally. This is what we've been waiting for. Alright, troops, get to the walls. Oh, these guys have iron? Looks like iron swords. Yep, looks like there's iron swords. Nobody's carrying shields, though. Damn, in hardcore mode, we got absolutely dunked on. Oh, yeah, there are a few shields. Never mind. But they all had shields. This seems like not enough shields. Alright, so some of the raiders have swords, composite bows, and some iron spears. We are in the Iron Age now, so let the games begin. So we'll lock some of our troops into this area, so when the enemy breaks through, it'll cut down their numbers a bit. All of the walls have defenders on them. The only other thing I'd say is missing here is probably some more towers, but let's see how they fare against the wall. The walls of Raptoria. So what we can say is that even though our previous settlement failed, let's say the children from our previous hardcore settlement ran off and somehow survived to become kings of this new world, kings and queens that are now more powerful than ever. Ah, look at that. The enemy's flanking around. So they are able to go up around that way, which is bad times for them because now they got to deal with platforms. Oh, they're gonna get dead to death. Hardcore mode also doesn't allow you to pause, which just doesn't seem like more annoying than it is challenging, I guess. I've also noticed, too, the raiders run. From when we started this new series, I've noticed that when our people become wounded, they actually... This may be a long-time feature, but it seems like they actually run quite a long ways away. And if your people attack a bear or an animal and become wounded, they'll also run. Looks like the enemy's broken through the wall there, but most of our people have survived. And you know the attack's over when they cheer, I guess. So let's open all those gates and return to work. Wow, not bad. Look at all the raiders there that died. I think that was the tactic here, was to try to get them to run along the wall, kind of like a turret defense game, and then come this way to where the entire time they'd be within range of the platform. And if they got through this platform, they got to deal with another one, and so on and so forth. But that seems to work out. I guess the other thing we could do is try to build a wall here and block the two areas between the rock, but then they'd run this way, and then so thus we'd expand the wall even further, then the river's there, so it's like, how far do you really want to go? Looks like they were also attacking this wall here too, so we clumped up on the defense, which looks wonderful. Okay, well, absolutely destroyed. I don't even think the enemy in this era would come with chainmail. I don't know if there's a way to tell if they're wearing that. Some of them seem to be wearing leather armor. This person seems to have that on, as where this one does not. So there may be some leather armor on these troops here that gives them some better defense. I wish that there was a way in this game to increase the difficulty as well. Now, I believe this is the Ancient Warriors map, I think. It may be. And if that's true, that means the enemies here should be much more frequent and much more ferocious. They should have better technology and come in greater numbers to make it more about the combat. And it seems to be the case because we built these tremendous amount of defenses where I'm sure we were continuously attacked from over and over and over again. Let's go ahead and check with the trader now. What do you got for us? Reinforced fortifications. Oh. Is that... Reinforced fortifications, is that the gates? Is that reinforcement for the gates? I'm actually quite curious about that. I'd like to see that. Let's trade, well, for the point of the series, let's just go ahead and dunk on everything that we've got here. Oh, adult females trade for 45. Wow! Animal trading I don't think was a thing, and that's an incredible amount to trade for. That's awesome. Let's go to 5 and 5. And let's trade for a female donkey. Oh, that's 60. And we'll just trade a few less then. 455 is what we need, so let's trade some bones. Good idea, too, by the way, to continuously make bone spears. They will trade for a little bit of money. Ah, this is fine. Doesn't matter. Okay. That's one thing I want to do in the future. Man, I just wanted to do like a quick multi-part series on this game of just like, oh, hardcore, there you go, Dawn of Man, that's back. It was a cool game, but probably not going to play it again. But now it's like, nope, now I want to play this completely all over again, and man, did I miss it. Alright, so let's see what that new tech does. So does that allow us to improve the walls? Okay, we can just upgrade to stone walls. But we can upgrade to a reinforced gate. I think, oh, the reinforcements, I think, allows us to build better quality towers. And better quality gates with iron and steel. Let's take a look and see if that's the case. Oh yeah, there it is. Yep, so reinforced gate, platform, and guard tower. Yeah. It's a good idea sometimes to buy technology in this game too to save your knowledge points for some things that you're trying to unlock, like reinforced shields and chainmail. But I would say that even at this point, now that we're in the Iron Age, the enemy's attacks will probably continue to increase in number and also their technology, but I mean, they can have all the technology in the world. I don't think it's going to beat my wall. Even if they had, you know, even if they continuously attack with chainmail and greater numbers, it's just going to be too much for them to get through. Because they're kind of kited into attacking this way, and it just thins their numbers out too greatly. If they attack from here, they're all going to be locked down on the bridge. And if they attack from over here, it looks like we've prepared for that with multiple towers. And I think those are the only ways that they try to attack. I don't see any defenses really built in the north, so they must be just attacking from there. In our previous series, I remember them attacking, or rather in our hardcore mode, they would attack from either south where the lakes were, west of the lakes, or to the east side too. So did they never attack from what is perceived to be the north, like up here? I don't know. Usually it's like 2 or 3 areas that they attack from, but I always thought it was 4. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, the last cattle has died. Oh. Well, let's go see one final defensive map, and let's call it a day. Oh, would you look at that? So I can confirm the other map that we were on was the Ancient Warriors map. This one is just simple, good old-fashioned Continental Dawn. And, oh, look at this. I made a little storage area for all of our grain. And damn, that was smart of me. Wow, good job, me. Oh, good job, dude. Yeah, thanks. Wow. Ah, and we're building a small little defensive zone here, too. Now, the problem with the towers is that I had forgotten in our previous series that they actually need people in them. So when we sound the alarm, people will rush to these towers. And they kind of work like a platform, though even now I feel like the armor on these towers is really... Their condition is based on how well they've been repaired. And this is just a traditional guard tower. I don't even... Oh, this might actually be a reinforced tower, which I think is a step above. I think the first level is called a watchtower, then the better one is guard tower. Let's make sure. Watchtower, guard tower, yeah, which takes actually iron to make. But anyway, I always feel like these are way too weak. They cover a pretty good area, and they're very small in comparison to the platforms, but I feel like the platforms are just better, even though they are easily destroyed. But anyway, So let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, we've got our water wheel here that's not producing anything at the moment. Damn, this game is gorgeous, man. I'm just in the mood for this. This is fantastic. Wow. So consider today's episode an apology as to the failure of the hardcore mode. However, I will say that this has just inspired me to play this game all over again. And it's a great, great game, too. I think the reviews on this are quite high. The only thing that is lacking at this point, since we played it so much, is, again, I want more maps and more places to settle, as there always seems to be a good spot. You can see all the nice flat land here and areas that we built defenses on, and we've squeezed in. Look, we even have a damn main. We have a main gate, dude. We have a main gate. That is awesome. But like, if you know, if you settle in the game in nomadic mode, you don't have any buildings built, so you can go build wherever you want. But I just never feel like I want to go like over here and build. I always just feel like wherever we start, if there's flat land, I just want to stay there. And it's not challenging. It's more about how cool it looks. Like, how the hell would you build here? Like, you just can't. All right. Well, we got 123 people in the camp. We're in the, what age? We are in the Iron Age as well. Boy, this save must have been before. Oh, yeah. For sure. Wow, this save was so early. This was before they had burials in the game. A body would just kind of disappear. You couldn't even train dogs, so they wouldn't really help. They would stay around the camp and help you originally, and but you had to actually research training them too. Bone polishing was just skipped. These are all the new things that were added then since the beginning of the game. So, or rather later on. This we played after there was platforms, so that's not so new. But that was definitely like the first big step for the developers, was to start making platforms so you could defend yourself better. Defenses were really the first thing that people wanted to see more of, because one, it's pretty sweet, but also two, it was a pain in the neck to like build a wall, but then you would just wait for the enemy to break through it. There was no way to like fight back from the wall, which kind of made it just like, you needed to build it so you could funnel the enemies into a certain area, but that was about it. Oh, we have our burial cairn here. But in order to build this, you didn't need to research it. That's crazy. Wow, this must be from, I don't know, 20... I feel like I'm discovering the dawn of my dawn of man. That's crazy. Well, let's wait for an attack. We'll call it a day, see how things go. It has been an unexpected pleasure, a delight to come back and try and play through all this game again and see what I had done previously, and now completely re-inspired to start over and do it again. Probably just in the Ancient Warriors maps, because the maps are different, but without... I want to do combat, but I feel like the survival part is also very important, though I don't think the enemies come until after the Mesolithic era. I think once you've unlocked Neolithic, that's the purpose for having walls. Other than that, Paleolithic and Mesolithic are just for basically building your population up, trying to get those numbers up. And since you can start doing grain processing, the trouble is here. Between the Paleolithic and Mesolithic era, the difficulty is this. You have a limited amount of food, and it takes so much time to go gather the food that a majority of your population is just all about gathering food, preparing food, and eating food. There's really nothing else that goes on. It's not until the Neolithic era that you can start farming that things really become beneficial. You can always gather that stuff, and you can make it into bread, but it is a very slow grind, for lack of a better term. But yeah, just like here, this is why the water wheel is so important, is because you're making meals out of the flour with minimal effort. Like, one person has to operate the water wheel. So they come here, throw in the grain into the top hopper, grind it all up, and then boom, flour comes out of it. So let's actually turn this up. I want to see this thing in action. See if someone will come over. I love our people. They'll skip taking the bridges. Oh man. This game would be just fantastic if they just called it, instead of just calling it Dawn of Man, just remove that and just call it the game Man. You know, it's like the history of mankind. Actually, yeah, rename the game, call it Mankind. Let us start from the Paleolithic era and just put more maybe don't, well, actually, just update the game currently and just allow more stuff here. Like, there's so much more space for tech. I love it, dude. I really hope that they make more for this game, but it'll probably end up just being in a new game. Maybe it'll be a space game. We'll see. Alright, well, now we're waiting for an attack. The whole camp is upgraded to have stone walls. We've got several gates, too. And this must be where we're being attacked from the most, or I did this for style points. There you can see 4 people have started to join us. I think there's a way to see our prestige, too. Let's check our numbers. Milestones. Get 150 people and build a cairn in your settlement. Oh, well, we're pretty close to that. We have population 155, and there's our cairn, which is basically like, this may as well be an expo center or an arena at these times. Such a cool looking building. I built it on the hill because, you know, I had to. I don't like where our stone circle is built, though. Wow, build 250 beer. So if we're going to research the remaining stuff, we need 17, 27... Oh, wow. We're going to need about... Oof. I don't know where we would end up getting another, like, let's say 50 points. That's probably how it would come in total. Because sometimes you get 2 or 3 points in the game as well. One cool thing that they've done is with the milestones, if you actually do these, you get knowledge for doing all these things. So, you know, once you've, for example, started farming, they give you bonuses for, like, making your first farm for knowledge. So it pushes you along. I feel like in this game, it's like you don't want to get to the end, but you do. It's always a constant battle of, like, you want that next upgrade, but you know it'll bring you closer towards having, like, a massive settlement. And it feels really impossible to, like, go down here and start a new settlement. You've seen in some of our previous episodes that it is possible to build down the map, but, you know, building too far means that if the AI is dumb, where somebody lives here and they're hungry, if they go all the way over there for a meal, they could die on the way, and so you could possibly have your population artificially limited by that. But it does show that at least you can go to 150. And look at all the support structure that are required. It's crazy how much stuff you need to support that. Wow, animals are dying left and right. They must have they definitely rebalanced the animals, because that definitely was not a problem here before I can recall. But yes, because of all the you know, the male and female now and the population control, it's like you know, like with sheep, you can probably do like 20 females to 1 or 2 males and try to limit your population that way. Otherwise, it'll explode. And it already has with 68 sheep in the map. But if we need food, and of course, if we also need raw skin, that's a way to worry about that. Wow, look at that. So we've got 30 oval shields. So we don't even need to make shields at our armor. We can just probably kill enemies and pull the chainmail off them. So why even bother making our own? Look at this. No, this is crazy. 52 steel swords, 30 oval shields. This camp is ready for battle, man. 53 composite bows. What do we got for trade? Do we have fish traps? Where would we see that? I think that actually is a symbol on... Wow, that is crazy. What a delight in disguise. Now, one more attack. Please come soon. I just want to see where the enemy attacks from, and I hope it's here, because that is going to be sweet to see these defenses like this. That is going to be awesome. Man, look at that traffic, too. Man, this game, once you get over, like, 50 population, it just becomes, like... Is this, like... Is this, like, modern New York? Like, look at all these people going back and forth and stuff. Or some major city, there's just so many people going around. It's incredible. Aw, a horse has died of old age. Lay sad. I don't even think we need to trade anymore. We would trade for tech, though. It would be nice if there was a way to somehow trade that, change that so the trade is more technological. We got cows. Let's do that. Wow. Look at these numbers that we can trade for. That's insane. Wow. Start with sheep. And, wow. Farming and sheep. That's the way to go now, I can tell. 210. Give me some more bows. No. Yeah. Actually, wait. Let's just trade clothing. We got a ton of it. Oh, no, we don't. I'll just trade this. This is fine. Let's do 5 rocks. 2 rocks, yeah. Also, another thing to keep track of is in this game, at a certain point, stones become incredibly valuable for all the wall building and structure building. So if you gather a ton of stones early and hold on to them, even after all your construction projects, this is a great way to be able to get ton of money very easily. Wow, look at all those people in the camp. Alright, we're just waiting for a battle. We'll have to see when it takes place. Hopefully it's soon. The final battle. Let it begin. Raiders are attacking. Ah, from over here. Oh, they're going to destroy the grain settlement then. But they're going to get destroyed themselves when they come across that bridge. There seems to be more defenses on this right side, but you can kind of see that that's what I was preparing for. Let's go ahead and sound the alarm. 140 people in the camp now. That's crazy. I do want more defensive options in this game, though. I'm just thinking now it's like, you know, each of these gates kind of like trigger a defense and stuff, but it'd be cool if there was a way to, like, instead of defending gates, because I think that's how the AI is programmed, is to attack, you know, walls and gates and things like that, and then eventually break inside and go to home. Oh, wow, everybody's coming out. Wow. The entire Raptorian army is coming out to kick ass. Some of our people are actually wearing leather armor, it looks like, maybe. Are they? They may have picked it off of previous raiders. Oh, these guys are destroyed, dude. Wow, yeah, look at that. Just destroyed. Swords are everything in this game. Once you get those bronze swords, dude, it's crazy. You'd think like a flint spear, you know, because your people can constantly throw flint spears. Oh, look at the chase. They're chasing them. Oh, an ambush. One of our warriors getting out in the field somewhere. Good job, everybody. Fantastic. Yeah, once you get those swords, man, it's all over. Well, there you go. Dawn of Man, a multi-part series. Not as long as our other ones, but definitely a trip down memory lane. Starting out as a, oh, I'm gonna do hardcore and show everyone I'm hardcore. Nope. Nope. Dawn of Man said nope to that, but it definitely shows that this game is, I can see why you guys constantly want me to play it again. It's really fun to be able to see the settlement go from 2 or 3 houses up to a sprawling complex of just all sorts of different buildings. And dude, imagine this where we could upgrade the cairn to a castle and all these houses would actually... Medieval. Jumping to medieval would be huge, but that's not necessarily Dawn of Man. And I would love to see these developers do some more games in the future. So a round of applause for this fantastic game. It'll be coming back to the channel again. I'm going to do a live stream. We're going to do some quote-unquote hardcore mode again, where I'll probably leave it on, you know, not hardcore mode, but I want to play in more difficult settings and newer parts and newer maps. It's a lot of fun. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you all next time. Appreciate the support more than you know. I could never say thank you enough. So thank you. Thank you for all the support. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.